we begin a lovely poem, Wind by Subramanya Bharati. When I talk of wind, what comes to your mind? Beach, breezy, windy, yes? Do you think of anything else when it comes to wind? When it's really stormy, how is the wind? What does the wind do? Well, all this has been explained in this poem very beautifully. So let's know about him first. He was a Tamil writer, poet, journalist, Indian independence activist, social reformer and polyglot. Now these words you're familiar, but what do you mean by a polyglot? Polyglot is that person who uses several languages. You know, he's known for that. So he was a polyglot. He used to use different languages to write his poem. Popularly known as Mahakavi Bharati, that's the great poet. He was a pioneer of modern Tamil poetry and is considered one of the greatest Tamil literary figures of all time. He was the first one, pioneer as in the first one, to bring in the modern Tamil poetry. His numerous works included fiery songs kindling patriotism during the Indian independence movement. So that's all we know about Subramanya Bharati. Now moving on to our poem. I shall first read out the poem to you as always. Yes, I shall read, and while I am reading, you need to understand what is the poet trying to tell us. You see how deep does your thinking go? Does it match with the poet? So, pay proper attention to every word that is being recited. All right? So let's go. Wind, come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages off the books. You brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail, crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to firm the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Now that's your poem so beautifully put up. I hope you have tried to understand what the poet is trying to tell us. So let's see what's the theme. In this poem, the poet talks to the wind. He has very beautifully expressed his ideas about both the destructive and the constructive aspects of the wind. Now, we know there are two aspects to it. It's destructive and constructive. How? Let's see. The power of wind has been described, and the poet says that wind is destructive. He has linked the destructive power of wind to the adversities of life and says that the weak people break down, but stronger people emerge out of adversities stronger. So here he's just trying to talk to the wind, and here what he's actually doing is it's like a metaphor. Here the wind is talking about the challenges, about the problems in life, and because of those problems, the way they come so strongly like the strong winds, they break down the people who are weak at heart. By weak at heart, I don't mean you get a heart attack. That's not what I'm saying. But weak at heart is when you don't have the courage, when you give up. That is weak at heart. So this is what he's trying. This is how the poem, when he's saying, the poet is saying that the wind is destructive. The poem gives an important message that we should be mentally tough and physically strong in order to survive the hardships of life. Yes, it's true. Mentally, we have to be really tough. We don't have to give up. We have to keep all the courage. We have to keep a lot of confidence in ourselves. We have to make sure that we do and give our best to face any hardships in life. Physically strong, of course, we have to be. A weak person breaks down like a weak building and crumbles. This is what he's saying. A weak person just breaks down. He gives up and then he's lost. He's doomed. We must make these destructive forces our friends with our strength and determination. All these weak forces, don't let it weaken you further. Keep your determination going strong. Keep it really strengthy. And see, you will actually make a big difference. Befriending the wind or the hardships of life makes it easier for us to face them. If you befriend the wind, if you're friends with the wind and the hardships of life, and you accept the challenges in your life and you face them with all courage, with all your strength and determination, you are definitely going to make it big. It will become easy for you to face them. You will not have any issues. So let's see what are the different poetic devices used in this poem. Now, we all know when we are talking of poems, we have to know our literary devices, our figures of speech, our poetic devices. Don't get confused. All three mean the same. I have always told you this. So, here the poetic devices used are alliteration. Alliteration is nothing but a repetition of the consonant. The first letter, which is a consonant, it is that which is actually, repeated several times in the same line. Then that is an alliteration. Anaphora is repeating a sequence of words where at the beginnings of the neighboring clauses. So at every line it is at the beginning. Metaphor is a word or a phrase. It is used to represent something else. It is standing, it says something but actually it refers to something else. Personification, when, yes, your non-living things are given the value of humans. I'm sure we know it by now. We have been doing it quite a few times. Repetition is a repetition of the same word in the same line, maybe twice, maybe thrice, maybe more. That's repetition. Symbolism, they use symbols, be they words, people, marks, location, or abstract ideas to represent something beyond the literal meaning. It symbolizes it. You will know in, just like if I talk of wind, we are symbolizing the hardships. And enjambment, it is the continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of a line, couplet or stanza. So here you have 2-3 lines, but they are without any punctuation. There's no punctuation at all. So these are the different figures of speech. Now, let's move on to the paras. Let's move on to see if there are any words that you don't know the meanings and the explanation of every line. So let's move on. Wind comes softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the papers. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. Now first we will target only these 8 lines and we will see what is it actually trying to tell us. The poet is talking to the wind. He asks the wind to come softly. He says, come, but come softly. Don't be too strong, then that becomes a problem. So he is saying that the wind should not be very strong or loud. It should be soft and subtle. Cool, gentle breeze blowing. When you go to the beach, you enjoy it so much. That's the wind we are looking at. Then he says that the wind is very powerful. It is destructive. It breaks the shutters of the windows and scatters the papers. Even when you switch on the fan, what do? Your papers are lying. Don't they get scattered away, right? Whatever is kept, it just flies away, yeah? So you have to know, we know it is very destructive. We keep a paperweight on it or, something on top of the paper so that it doesn't fly. When the wind is very powerful, all the books which are kept on the shelf fell down. They all fall down generally. If it's very windy, it's extremely windy. I'm not talking of the normal gentle breeze. It's extremely windy when it is like storm, sort of a stormy wind. Yes, in that case, the books also fall down from the shelf. So here, the poet is describing the power of the wind. Then he says to the wind to look at the destruction that it had done. It already did a lot of, caused a lot of problems. Whenever there is a strong wind, All the things that are weak, like small plants, tiny children, etc., they all get scared and they can even fall and get hurt. Yes, it's true. The tiny plants fall. There are so many things, whatever around, you get so scared that, you take care that you either you shut the windows or you do something that it does not cause any harm. We can say that in the initial part of the poem, the poet is referring to wind as a young child. He is saying that it should come softly, just like a small child does. Yeah, says come gently, come with love, come very smoothly and softly so that we can enjoy it. We can really have fun with it. Not in such a manner that you come and spoil and you destroy everything. Please don't come that way. Now, very important. Okay, let me just show you these lines once again. Now you tell me, do you find any rhyme scheme in this poem? How do you get a rhyme scheme? We've discussed it. You have to check the last words of every line. Are they rhyming? Just like cat, bat, hat, that's rhyming words. You know it, right? So softly, windows, papers, shelf. Do you find any rhyming words? No. Through, down, books, again. No rhyming words. So, when you don't have any rhyming words in your poem, yes, in that case, the entire poem is written in free verse. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem. When you find a poem, now see why are we bringing this to your notice? Because when you write in your exam papers, you have unseen poems as well. Now, maybe if this comes in your exam, you know it. So, you're aware of it. You may just by heart it, which you shouldn't. You should understand it. But in case when you're doing your unseen poems, yeah, that time if they ask you what is a rhyme scheme, and if you find that the words are not rhyming, then you will write there it is a free verse because there is no rhyme scheme, just like this poem. And what are the literary devices? Now, do you see poetic devices, literary devices, figures of speech? All mean the same, so don't get confused. Here you have anaphora. When a word is repeated at the start of 2 or more consecutive lines, it is the device of anaphora. Now, you see 2, 3, 4. If you look at the second, third and fourth line, they are beginning with don't, don't, don't. Right? The first word, remember the beginning of a line we said. So, the very first word of every line is beginning with the same word and therefore it is anaphora. Likewise, 6, 7, 8 is beginning with you, you, you. Personification. Wind has been personified. Wind has been given the human qualities. When the poet says you are, he is referring to wind as you. That means he is treating wind as a person. The person, you do this, you come like this, you go like, so who comes softly and gently? A human, right? Not wind. So this is how we have these figures of speech for lines 1 to 8. Moving further to lines 9 to 15. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Poking fun as in making fun of something. Weaklings is a person who is weak. Yeah, very weak, does not have confidence in himself. That's how it is. Fail crumbling houses. What do you mean by crumbling? Falling or to cause something to break. It's just about to break, it's ready to fall. There are certain houses which are making those crumbling, creaky sounds. They are ready to fall. That's crumbling. Yeah, falling or cause something to break. Crumbling doors, crumbling rafters. What do you mean by a rafter? It's a sloping beam which supports the roof of the building. So imagine even that comes down. The wind is so strong. Crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives and crumbling hearts. You even break hearts. Do hearts literally break? No. What are we talking of? People who are weak, who don't have confidence in themselves, who don't believe in themselves, right? Those are crumbling hearts. Those hearts break easily. They give up easily. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Now, what are these lines trying to tell us? Here the word crumbling is repeated so many times to lay stress that everything crumbles in the face of a strong wind. When the wind is extremely strong, it's uncontrollable, as in anyways you can never control it, but there is something that you can't do, you're helpless that time, it just breaks down everything. So the writer is saying that when wind is very powerful, it is very strong, it leads to breakage of everything. It breaks down anything that is there. Anything that's there, it just breaks down. Houses which are weak fall, doors which are weak fall, the beams on which the roof of the buildings are supported, even they fall. All the wooden structures fall, all bodies of people fall, animals, lives and hearts. All of them break, all of them fall, all of them just collapse. Nothing is left. All of them literally just can do nothing in front of that strong wind. So he is saying that everything crumbles. Everything that is weak reacts by falling down and breaking in the face of adversity. Adversity is when you come across challenges of life, when time is not favoring you, when there are problems, when the situation is totally opposite, not the one you want. So the poet is saying that whenever a weak person faces any adversity or challenge in life, he breaks down and falls. He gives up. He just cannot do anything. He's lost control, over his actual determination, what he should have had. Had he been a determined person, you will never fall. You will fall. Fall means what? You will give it up. You will stop doing it. I want to be a ranker. That's what you want, right? No matter what comes across, whatever problems, challenges you come across, you have to study hard. Maybe there is some marriage in the house. Maybe there are some other distractions. Those are adversities according to you, challenges according to you. How do you face them? Make up your mind, lock yourself in a room and just study hard. Study hard for 2 hours. Look, there is a pattern to do this. No one is asking you to study 24/7. That's not what we look at. And you will never get anything out of it. In fact, if you really discipline your life, you can enjoy to the max. But for the same, you have to discipline your life. Keep everything, for a limited time span. And definitely you are an achiever. That's a challenge. Yeah? So yeah. Any challenge in life, he breaks down and he falls. Who's that? A weak person. But if you are strong physically and mentally, nothing can stop you. No strong distractions can come your way. And even if they come, you know how to face them. Now, talking of the poetic devices from lines 9 to 15, repetition. Now, crumbling, crumbling, crumbling was repeated many times to lay emphasis. The poet wants to say that the wind crushes everything that is weak. That is why he is repeating the word crumbling. That's repetition. So I told you the same word being repeated in the same line a number of times. Repetition. Now, enjambment. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives and crumbling hearts. Now, if I show you these lines over here, right? Do you see? There is no pause. It is a continuation. There is no pause in it, right? It is a continuous process. So, it is an enjambment, right? Now, alliteration, the repetition of a consonant sound in close connection. Wind, winnows, won't, want. So, you see W, 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 ver is repeated. Wind, winnows, won't, what. There are so many repetitions that they have. In that case, it is a, yes, alliteration. You got it? Ver. Moving further to lines 16, 22. Practice to firm the body, make the heart steadfast. Steadfast as in firm, strong. Do this and the wind will be friends with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. Flourish as in they grow. They grow more. They become bigger. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Now, let's understand what each line is telling us. The poet has kept the wind on a pedestal, on a big pillar type. He is comparing the wind to God. He says that wind is God and we praise wind every day. He adds that everything that is weak gets finished off in the face of the strong wind. We know that when the strong wind blows, nothing can stay in front of it. And all the things that are strong, they flourish and grow to become stronger. What do you mean by this line? Let's talk of fire here. When there is a little fire, buildings or when buildings catch fire and if there is wind blowing, the fire spreads. It spreads and becomes larger. It does a lot more destruction, right? So this is what it's trying to say when it says all the things that are strong flourish and grow to become stronger. He is giving us a very important message that we should not feel bad that we are facing so many challenges and adversities in life. We should welcome them. See, sometimes some things are inevitable. What do you mean by inevitable? They will just come whether you like it or you not. It will come your way, right? So problems are likewise. It is always, day and night. If you have day, it is followed by night. If you have night, it is followed by day. Life is just like that. You have happiness, you have sadness. You have happiness, you have sadness. So it is all, just coming and going. It just comes. It will come, but it doesn't come to stay. No problem in your life comes to stay. It comes, yes, it attacks you. But how you save yourself, how you defend, that matters. If you are strong, it will not affect you. Yes, you will face it, right? But you will get through the challenge, you will overcome it and you will keep moving on, right? You don't get stuck there and you give up and you keep crying and you say my life is ruined, I have nothing left, those types. No, we are not. We are all very confident. We have the determination and I'm sure we will all rock. Yes, all of you will equally rock. We should make ourselves physically and mentally strong to face these challenges. And once we are strong enough, we will overcome the challenges, we will become friends with them, and then we will be happy that we had these challenges in our life because they help us become stronger and better. Yes, you learn a lesson from everything. Every challenge, every problem that comes your way, you learn a lesson. It's always say either you get a friend or you get a lesson from the problem. So it all depends how you take it, how you face it, with what mindset, with what thought process you have, with what attitude you look at it. It all matters on that. Right? So this is what they're saying when they're talking of wind, talking of the challenges of life. It is all about, they come, but it is about us, how we protect, how we defend ourselves and how we face them. Yes? So this is what the poet is trying to tell us. Symbolism. The wind symbolizes challenges and problems. This is the figure of speech. Weak fires symbolize people with weak willpower and strong fires symbolize people with strong willpower and firm determination. If your willpower is very strong, if you're very determined, nothing can stop you. Yeah, but if you are weak, if you don't have, you're not mentally strong, you're not physically strong, then obviously nothing and nobody can save you. Yes, so that brings us to the end of such a wonderful poem, giving us such a wonderful message. I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sails to always reach my destination. Very well put up by Jimmy Dean. He says, I cannot adjust this. You cannot definitely change the direction of the wind. The wind will blow. It has to. Can you change it? You can't. None of us can. Yeah, we cannot change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your sails. You can actually adjust your, mindset, your process. And yes, if you want to be a ranker, if that's your destination, you will reach. If you want to top it all, you can do it. You have to adjust your sails. You have to become strong. Your willpower, your determination has to be at its peak to get to it, to get to your destination. And this is what I pray for each one of you. I'm sure you will all, face the hurdles in your life with strong determination and make it a big success story for yourselves. Yes, wishing you all the very best for the same. Keep watching and keep learning.